Hi, my name is Cynthia Connolly. I'm Special Projects Curator of Arlington County. We're here today with Eva Salmerón and Emilio Alarcón. Thank you. From the Spanish design collective, mmmm. So we wanted to thank, first off, MRP Realty, who gave us this plaza for us to work from and position the meeting bowls here. Also, Acción Cultural Española for the funding to bring Eva and Emilio here. Centro Cultural Español from Miami, who are coordinating bringing the meeting bowls to Miami, and then also the Miami Design District. And you guys all here today for the talk. So I think what we'll do is just launch into the talk. And how about if we just start talking about, I'll read, I'm just completely discombobulated in here. This project, the Meeting Bowls, is a Courthouse 2.0 project with Arlington Public Art. Courthouse 2.0, Reimagining the Civic, is a public art initiative aimed at sparking public conversation about the future Courthouse Square project by exploring the interaction between civic space and civic life in Arlington. Courthouse is a symbolic heart of Arlington, a public town square where you can engage to create, celebrate, or to simply relax. Our purpose with Courthouse 2.0 is to engage people in new and creative ways. So this was the Courthouse 2.0 area that we're looking at. Is you see the farmers market over here, and past that is a parking lot. The parking lot eventually will be converted or redesigned into a big public space. What we're doing here is activating these spaces in advance of this newly designed space that will happen in the next 10 years. So on top of this project here, which is marking the corner, sort of a corner point. On the other corner at 15th and Courthouse is work by Linda Hesch called Civic. So afterwards, you please go over and check out that piece as well. And then the other end of Courthouse, the parking lot is a ground mural by an artist named Kate Stewart. So these are some of the projects we're doing to activate the Courthouse area. So I'm going to launch. Yesterday we were talking about a couple ideas. You guys have been a design group since 1999. Is that correct?
Yes, for almost 20 years.
For almost 20 years. So when I was looking at your website, I really loved that first piece you did called the Christmas Attack. And the reason why I loved it is because it was so simple, and it showed this action and a response to the public that I feel as though is indicative of all of your projects thereafter, that you focus on trying to instigate the public in a way to for them to respond, for you to see the response and have them have an experience that they're not even aware the experience is happening. So can you explain Christmas Attack and then some of your other projects that show that style of action?
It was very simple. We wanted that specific Christmas. We were. Can you hear me well? Yes? Okay, great. We were kind of sad and upset, like for a personal matter, like a boyfriend just like leaving you before Christmas. And so we just wanted to be a little enfant terribles. We in Spain we don't have Santa Claus. We have the three kings. Those are the ones that bring the presents for the kids. So we just wrote the three kings don't exist. The 5th of January in this parade they made for kids, but I mean, it was afterwards. People were just doing the late shopping for their kids. So actually, only one kid saw us, and they just believe what they want to believe. So the kid was not the problem. But the parents, they got very upset. And we just lasted 10 minutes. It was such a provocation. And afterwards, we just almost ran from there. And we were like, well, next time we do something, we have to know why we do it. Because people were asking us, why do you do this? You're killing the illusion. And And we didn't know why we did it, but we did it. And that was the start of just provoking things in the street. I wouldn't do that personally. I'm a mother now. I was a little punk in that time. We were very young. But now, like last action we have done in the street is called Human Rabbits in Melbourne in Australia. 50 people wearing cardboard heads with the form of a rabbit. They walk in the streets. And we wanted, it was fun, it was funny, very oniric, also like a little dream, surrealistic. And we wanted to talk about immigration and group and identity. The rabbits in Australia is a main issue. They have a problem because they were brought from Europe. They are not from Australia, and they kill a lot of the ecosystem of Australia, and there was a huge invasion, and they became a real problem. So they start like killing them, and so we just wanted, with a touch of humor, to make a thoughtful action to think about that. So that's the actions, the kind of actions we are doing now in the street.
So when you started, you told me you guys met, you were in a bar and it was a game that you played, and then you decided that can you explain how you guys even started the group mmmm?
Yeah, we started making impros in bars for drinks.
And then from there, you sort of stepped out of the bar?
Yeah, and then 1 year later, the street was, and will be a very easy place to start working, because it doesn't cost you any money. If you don't do anything, I mean, if you do something that doesn't require like putting something in the space, you don't need a permission. I mean, for the human rabbits, you don't need a permission. It's just people walking in the street. So it's very easy to work in the street, to have a public without an announcement, or a theater space where you can sell tickets. So it's a very free space to make things happen.
So obviously the first actions you just made, and you went out in the street and did them. You didn't have support from anybody doing this. So who was the first person who came to you, or group, that said, we want to hire you to do a specific project focusing on a specific topic, for example? Did anybody come to you after seeing,
yes,
like the rabbits, or how did that happen?
It was a private company, a phone private company, that wanted us to investigate in different ways of guerrilla, how do you call it, guerrilla marketing? That in that time didn't exist yet, the name. I mean, but it was like, well, we want to do some new kind of advertisement in the street, and to investigate with you. And it was half advertisement, half promotion of art. It was like in the way. They were very respectful with the ideas. And we were working with them for a few years.
What was the name of the project? Is it on your website?
Yeah, it's called Video Van.
Okay.
Well, we did several with them. But it was a van that had images projected from the inside in the windows. So it was, and it was parked in the street. So it was like a very amazing vehicle parked in the street. You know, you were just like walking, and then you saw this van full of video images of people floating. So it was, it worked, and you could drive it, and
you could drive it. Drive it to different locations.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Oh, interesting. Did it actually advertise something, or was it just to promote the product?
It had written the name of the brand outside, and they were promoting concerts for young people.
So with the meeting bowls, the original location for the meeting bowls was in Times Square in New York, is that correct? Did they actually approach you and say, we like what you do, can you design a project, or did you have the meeting bowls designed and you approached them?
No, in fact, okay. Hello. In fact, we made them specifically for Times Square, because Times Square, as you know, is a place where a lot of people goes there. So we wanted to make something like a refugee for the people, a place to escape from the city, and a place to meet the people. Because our work is always talk about recover the city for the people, to make pieces that makes the people connect each other, to make new connections and new interactions.
Can you guys hear over there? Okay, great. So what's really great about the meeting bowls, which I really love, is when you can see it from the outside, and it's a sculptural work, and on its own here in the terrace, this plaza, you see it from afar, it just looks fantastic, and you wonder what it is, and then you come over here and you could actually climb inside of them, and then the whole world sort of changes when you sit inside the meeting bowl, as far as I see it. And it really makes you sit and ponder and look around you, and it really does change your perspective of the place where we are by just being within the meeting bowl itself. It's different than sitting at a table with chairs, because you feel sort of safe within this sort of space here, and you feel like you're in a room that you're viewing from the inside out.
Yeah, and the geometry is very important. They are a circle, because when you sit inside a circle, you have a person in front of you. So when you have a person in front of you, it's very rude to don't speak with them. So the geometry of the meeting balls is a key point in the design.
So what I wanted to ask you is to see if you guys wanted to talk about some of your favorite projects. And then I wanted to ask you also, if you were just given anything or any amount of money or anything in the world or any place, what would be your favorite project you would want to do?
We want to make a playground. We haven't done any playgrounds yet. And more things. We like to change the landscape of the city. We would love to make land art as well. That's next step.
So when you talk about land art, are you visualizing it somewhere in a space where they're in a city, or are you thinking more about
in the countryside? That would be nice. And the city, I think there is going to be more and more public art in the future, because cities, they are getting very cold and very individualistic. People don't talk to each other. They are like automats, like robots in a way. We can become very easily robots in the city. So you need to provoke encounters and to make people interact, and that's why you live in a city, to meet a lot of people. I mean, if you don't want to talk to anyone, you better go to live in a forest with the squirrels, So I think we need public art in cities, all kind of. We were talking before that they could be, meeting malls could be also like dating places, because it's like a fun place to meet with someone you want to date with. No, let's meet in the meeting ball.
Yeah, completely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we saw people, yesterday coming here. They have lunch in the meeting bowls. You can tell they planned it. They're carrying their lunch from the building and they're coming straight to one of the bowls, and yeah.
And that's so beautiful to with a different space, or what you were saying, different perspective, just changing the way people behave. I think that's very important. And future projects, many.
What is one of your favorite projects you've done in the past?
Me, I like a lot a party we made in total obscurity. You couldn't see anything. And half of the guests, they were blind people. And they had so much fun, because people didn't know they were blind. So they were like, oh, I like the touch of your shirt. It's like, yeah, you will see it when we get out of the party. And they were like, no, I'm not going to see it. I'm blind, And they were saying, like, everybody was talking so loud. And blind people, they were saying, they think screaming, they are going to see something. So it was like a space of freedom. You could be talking with someone, and if you were getting bored, just leave, and they weren't going to find you. I mean, it was complete complete darkness. Or you could be just listening to a conversation. You were invited, and they didn't know you were there, just listening the whole thing. So I love that space of freedom. It was an indoors action.
How many people were involved with that?
Maybe like 100. And we gave drinks, and they were waiters, and they had these elastics in the cans, so they would know 1 elastic Coke, 2 elastics beer, 3, elastic, you call it?
Yeah.
Like rubber?
Rubber band, yeah.
Rubber bands.
Yeah.
So they could know what they were offering, you know? Diet Coke, 4 rubber bands.
For me, one of my favorite projects is bus stop that we made here very close in Baltimore, and it's fantastic because they are like 3 big letters, BIBUS, and the people can wait the bus inside the letters. So they are big, like 14 feet tall, and the people can interact each other inside the letters. And the experience of doing them was fantastic because we were living in Baltimore for 1 month. We made the letters with Kyle, that's here. We worked with them, and the experience was amazing. I always will remember it. It's very the more funny part of our job is to make the things real, to construct the things, to involve the people and to relation with other people, and how our work changed how the people interact inside the city.
Yeah, it's a part of working with the community that you get to know really how the city is like by its people. So working with I think it's a little bit like here with you, that you get to know the people you work with, and then you build something together, and that's something very nice about public art.
So I was going to open up see if we could if anybody has any questions. Of course, now that we've changed the format here, I'm not sure. Deirdre, do you want to see?
I can take the mic.
Okay.
I just wanted to ask where in Spain, just thinking of that.
Yeah, we are based in Madrid, and I think we are very much a Spanish collective, because in Spain we live a lot in the street, and many things are happening in the street, like San Fermines, these bulls running in the streets in Pamplona, or Las Fallas, which is in Valencia, that they burn these huge sculptures every year, and or the Eastern parades, the religious ones, La Semana Santa, in Seville or in many cities, and so we have seen things happening in the street since we were kids. So I think that's why maybe we started just doing things in the street. It was so natural for us.
Yeah. Thank you very much for doing this. It's a wonderful public art. What's your next big adventure? What do you see in the future? And how would you engage the community? Other than cups and bowls.
Next project we have program is the Meeting Goals going to Miami. We really want to see how they work there. Something very interesting about this project is that you can see a little bit the personality of the city. Just watching how people react and interact inside of the balls. So you can see if it's like a more like maybe northern city or south, and how shy people is, or if they, like here, they use them a lot for like 2 people, couples. But we have seen less, like just like a crowded ball like today. So maybe it's because of the area, also the neighborhood. So that's very interesting matter. And we love United States because we think people are very interactive in general in this country. Like people that they don't know, they just start talking to you or telling you, oh, well, I love your shoes, you know?
Yes, you are very open people, much more than in Spain. So we love America, yeah.
How is that possible, especially after you just explained how it was so easy for you to perform in the streets, because a lot of a lot of your traditions are, in a way, parades and performance in the street. That's interesting to think that then people aren't as open.
I think in Spain people like to get together and like be surrounded of a lot of people that is so close to you physically also, you know. Here you respect more your physical space around you, and you don't give 2 kisses when you say, just to say hi or to say bye. But it's people in America, what I feel is that if they don't know you, they don't have any problem starting talking to you with any excuse, you know, or about the weather, about, oh, your accent, where are you from? And they just start. So maybe it's because you are a very big country with a lot of mix of people, and you have less prejudice. Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
She just asked, do you find age demographics differences in the bowls?
That's a hard question. Maybe if they would be in a playground, the meeting balls, as we were talking before. Yeah, they will love them just to feel they are like under a tent or something, no? Like more in their own space, their own little world, like the Little Prince. And maybe older people can have some trouble getting in, as we were talking before also. But they can do it. It's not that hard. They climb mountains, many of them. So, and yeah, maybe, I don't know. I think, yeah, it can generate different situations depending the age. Might be, but also depending if there are women or men, or how big is the mix, no? But it's interesting. It would be nice maybe to have a camera just taping the meeting ball 24 hours a day and see what's going on there.
So I have a question. You talked about feeling or seeing different personalities in different communities that you visit, and I'm wondering if you could describe what you think the personality of Arlington is, from what you've seen.
Well, we can see you feel very safe here. So you are like that makes you very relaxed. That's very nice, actually. Like you don't have to be like alert for your bag, and it's pretty quiet also, no? Very
relaxing. No?
Yeah, like very relaxed. Like DC seems to be a little bit more aggressive, even if it doesn't seem to be as aggressive as New York And in comparison with Baltimore is very wild. We can see that, which is good for many things. It gives you a space very, it's like being in a wild forest or something, no? It's like a reto. How would you say a reto? Like something you have to overcome, no? And here it's nice that you can do public art, and it's in like there is no graffiti. Everything is in order, it's clean. So that's nice, also makes things easier. And you're very nice, of course. And we want to thank you for inviting us. We are having a lot of fun.
Hi, thank you. Great talk, great sort of meeting bowl experience. It's wonderful. So I was wondering if you have any examples of your projects. I know that perhaps intentionally these are temporary installations because you're addressing a certain issue, but can you explain if there are any projects that later on turn into a permanent installation or fixture in a city, or are you intentionally keeping it, for a certain period of time? Curious to know. Thanks.
For example, the project I talk about, Bus Stop, it was permanent project. And we become experts in temporary pieces because they were cheaper. So it's like that. The budget is more mandatory. So we began to work in temporary installations, and now we begin to be experts in temporary installations. But we don't have nothing against permanent installations.
Yeah, actually, we love bus to still be there and see how it gets older and has more like stories about it and history. So we love to make more like permanent work. Yeah, we would love to be the meeting balls permanent, of course. That would be nice.
Hi, thanks so much. And we've been sitting here for a while, and I noticed how comfortable these meeting bowls are. And I was wondering, when the design process, why a circle versus a square or a triangle? Did the shapes and how you thought about it, how did that play into your designs?
Yes, because it's, when you sit inside a circle, you can see the faces of the other people. So, and every distance from one to the others is the same. I am from the same distance from you that from Kyle. So it's an special geometry. The circle is the perfect geometry. So it was mandatory to be circular.
Mandatory, many mandatory things.
I like mandatory word.
Yeah, and also we were talking before that it's like a round table. That, no, when you are sitting having lunch in a round table, it's not the same feeling that the square table. It's more like a team thing, no, or family thing, or more intimate.
It creates a nice flow. It creates a nice flow.
Yeah, it does. The back is comfortable, yeah.
Does anybody else have any questions? I have one last question, actually, if nobody else has any more. But curious to know if you work with any other design collectives that work similar to you, and I was wondering who they might be, if you have ever done something like that, and or also have you looked at any historically, like I brought this book by a group called Ant Farm, which was here in the United States, which was sort of a design, you could call it a design collective as well, from the 70s. So I was wondering if you, when you started, if you were looking at other sort of formats that other people have done in the past or projects, or it was just sort of spontaneous from hanging out with your friends and you thought of these ideas and you want to just go do them on the street. Like a couple questions there.
I think it was pretty spontaneous, don't you think, Emilio? Yeah. I mean, we love the 70s, and it's where the street actions started, the performance, and so I guess, and we were born in the 70s, so I guess that was an influence.
Yes. I think there was more freedom in the 70s and in the 60s than we have now. So our inspiration is always around these years. I want to say thank you, of course, to all of you for making this project real, to Deidre, to Cynthia, and of course to Angela. And thank you to all Arlington, because we feel like in home. So thank you to all of us, to all of you.
Yeah, and please do more and more public art.
Thank you.